Hello everyone, my name is Relax and Panic and this is another reaction to Steins Gate. It is episode 22 and you know what to do. As always, if you want to see the reaction, go down into my descriptions, remove the circumflex dot parts with real dots and enjoy the reaction itself. Once you've done, feel free to come back here and hear my thoughts about this episode. So, see you soon. For those of you that came back, welcome back. Now, I took a deep breath. This was a very strange reaction for me. Because in like the first 2/3 of the episode, I felt like I did not react very much at all. Because, well, quite easily, there did not really happen much in the episode at this point. It was, I mean, the general idea of the episode, where it was going, of the series right now, was you have to make this decision. Press the button, kill off Kurisu, or find any other solution. And what they did in the first 2/3 of the episode was stretching time, you know? Which is fitting for Steins Gate. They put in Kurisu and Okabe again, so they deepened the relationship again. They made them spend time again. And I guess you had possibly kind of the same effect watching it. For me, it was like they were playing on me. It was this, I know what they are trying to do. They try to put a nail deeper into my heart. The effect of when they do the decision, it will hurt more, you know, like that. And I was like, I will not give in to that. I know it's coming. I will not. And it did work quite good. Until the last minutes. And then they got me. Crap. It's okay. Once again, whenever I realized this in past reactions for other series as well. Those of you who watch those might know which one I mean. It is always a major thing if they put in fitting music. It plays to the heart. They get me with emotions. They get me with, as strange as this is, acceptance of loss by the person that goes, as did Kurisu here. So this generosity, the will to sacrifice yourself or something from yourself for others, always gets me, at least a bit. Well, so that was an interesting mix. So let's go through it one by one. I checked, this is why I took this picture here. I had the theory that the appearance of the characters in this intro scene might be somehow related to the D-males. But it isn't. I checked it again and it's not... Yeah, but it would have been funny, you know? If it's not anything important, but if you have seen this series before and you watch the intro again, and you would catch that, it would be like, whoa, they completely foreshadowed it since episode 1. You know, like, you can see in the intro of episode 1 or 2, in which appearance they will send D-males, or undo the D-males, might be as well. But it isn't, not perfectly. However, still nice. I liked it. At least of having this idea shows me how much I'm already trying to find clues here in the intro. Because some of you already said that when you rewatch this series, you see more clues, you see more foreshadowing than you can realize in the first time. I mean, it makes sense. So, okay. Not what I thought, but cool. We had Marquise, Kurisu and Okabe. More neither, the whole episode was completely them. She is lying on the top of the roof, which I like, because that is what he always did. So when he tried to focus his brain or to forget something, to think about big problems, whatever. So either when he was about thinking or when he was trying not to think, to lift his own spirit, he was there, and now it is her. Which is fitting, because she now knows what happens, what will happen. She tried to find solutions, as she stated later on. And when she realized she can't find a solution, she tried to yeah, well, relax herself to get herself a bit distant from the problem itself. So that's what she's doing, and I like the fact that she's using his method for it, which shows how much they have grown on each other, how close they became. Then we had the rainfall, which is, when this happened, it was for me like, oh no, they will use the rain, which they did, to bring them into a closed corner, into a closed room in this case, so that they are both, you know, wetted down, they are warming each other, they get close to each other, they are snuggling, whatever. It's one of those, well, it was for me like, oh, seriously, you're going there? Why do you do that? It's a cheap version, you know, of doing it. And it started off like this, like a cheap step to get two characters together. But as always with Steins Gate, it got better because they have deeper insight, you know. They played on this. So yes, she was completely drained down. She was completely wetted down. And yes, she had a white lab coat, so he could see through, which was a bit surprising. We hadn't much of scenes like this in this series at all. And he was then more like giving his distance speech, like, why would I think I wrote it down. What did he name her? Scrawny being? Something? Scrawny naked. Why would I be interested in someone so scrawny and naked? Something like that. So it is this, yes, he is interested and he doesn't want to show it. He's teasing her a little bit. So they are already circling around each other there. They did since the beginning, I mean. There were more things. So let's go there first. It's not in the correct timeline now for what happened in the episode. What I really liked, which a little bit surprised me, but I really liked it, is the fact that later on he opened up inside himself, not towards her. He didn't tell her, but he thinks to himself about how he adores her, how he sees her, how he has seen her in the past already. How intelligent she is, that he always went to her for help, and everything. You know, it's all of it. The way that she acts, she talks, she walks, how they say, but a lot of focus on her intellectuality base, and that he feels like she's someone he can go to. So this is a moment before he tells her what's going on inside of him. And I like it because we get a short glimpse on his inside, which is about her, and which, for the first time, to himself as well, honestly states that he has deeper feelings for her. I liked that. That was really good. And it went into the first... this was the beginning of my fall, by the way. You know, it is this, oh no, oh damn, they're doing it, and I can't stop it. As I said, it's always a mix-up. When I get teary-eyed, it's always like, damn, I don't want to, but, you know, I somehow enjoy it whatsoever. However, back to the timeline. When they talked there, while she was repairing stuff, which is, by the way, an interesting way of showing that there is more to her and she gets more interesting to him, because she's not just a scientist, she is a woman as well. She is someone who might be possible for a relationship, which is a bit strange, and everything. But she remembered her death, as we already knew, but she told him. And she remembers him trying to save Mayushi all the time, and how hurt he looked, how stressed he is. And this went into an interesting zone, which I liked about this episode a lot. So it was not just about those two, it was about his soul that has to be saved, because that is what she's doing. You know? We know now why she does it. I already speculated that. In the end, she did what I speculated. She made sure this D-mail was undone. She didn't do it herself, but in the end she made it sure. So she was aware that he will be destroyed, his soul, his inner being, he will be completely destroyed if he is not able to save Mayuri. And he already confessed then that, well, it's already happening, you know? The fact that he's feeling numb to what's happening with Mayuri, to watching her die. There was a moment which we hadn't in the episode, in the series, which would have been interesting, where he realized that he's not feeling pain directly when she dies, as he did in the first times, you know? I'm pretty sure, I can completely understand that. We have seen multiple deaths. If you remember, the first one didn't shock me really much, because it was already kind of pre-shadowed, you know? We knew it was coming, and it took very long until she was shot. While the second death did hit me, because I didn't see it coming. And the third was like, holy crap, the one in the subway was the worst, because of the circumstances. But I was already in the mood of, seriously, I don't want to see any more of her death. And I can completely understand that there will be a time when you're just, you know, it becomes like, and it happened again, it happened again, it happened again. And you don't realize the fact anymore how much pain it is for the person in this moment. It's what they say about TV or computer games. It's not real anymore. And I think to him it became something like that. So he is already on this journey of losing his soul to this effect. And I liked that Marquise slapped him and tried to wake him up from it, because the pain that Mayuri feels is real. And if you think about it, Kurisu stated that she remembers Okabe trying to save Mayushi all the time. So she remembers multiple timelines, multiple options. Maybe not everyone, but many of those. They have the theory of that important, strong emotions transport over the timelines, strong memories. How much stronger than death can you get? I mean, she remembers her one death. What if... I mean, we know that Mayuri remembers her death as well. So, when Okabe is like, I just try, you know, I try again and again and again and again and again. Just to measure the time, just to see what versions exist. You know, if he would grow cold and just let it go, it would mean that Mayushi is dying hundreds or thousands of times and will remember those in every timeline. So it is very likely that she will become cracked in her head, you know? Even when he would be able to save her whenever, as he did now. She would possibly still have those vague memories. How do you cope with that? I mean, talking about mental illness. If you wake up in the morning and you remember 1,000,000 days how I can die, this will mess with your head. You know, you will... This cannot go well. So it's important that he solves the problem as soon as possible. So I see this. I completely agree with Marquise Kurisu here. And yeah, well, it's the best option to do it as fast as possible, which is why she insists on pressing on. Which, by the way, means that she has less time with Okabe, because otherwise she very likely will remember the first kiss. If you would have jumped just in another timeline without saving Mayushi, she might have remembered and they would have had more time. And she's not doing this. I mean, she's intelligent. I'm pretty sure she is aware of this option and she didn't go there. So she put Mayuri and Okabe first before her own needs in so many ways. In so many ways here. Well, I was rambling a little bit. Let's go further. yeah, we had, after she said the thing about him trying to save Mayuri, that she realized that there's someone who can care so much about someone else, and that this is important to her. And we had a very short glimpse of a girl with pink hair, not pink, purple hair, who was crying. I don't know who that was, but I guess it was her. So just guessing, I mean, we had a little bit of background story about her and her dad, so I guess it was a reminiscence of her past, that she kind of lost faith in mankind in general, of that they are able to have so deep feelings. And he showed her that those feelings do exist, not to her in this moment, to Mayuri, but that is something. So she's a romantic, you know. She wants to hold those feelings, those emotions alive for people. So yeah, she completely accepted what's going to happen. Oh yeah, the my theory about if he will do it again and again, it will be will cause more problems for Mayushi. I just realized Marquise even put it in a sentence. Running will only make it worse. That's true. That's it. Just realized. You know, I'm following my notes. And we had the proclaim of love. We had the what he was thinking to himself. Already discussed it, and then he stated that he loves her. I know he said it a little bit later, but he, before saying that he loves her, he made sure that she understood that she was struggling because he likes her so much. He cannot let her go as well, Marquise. And she said, "Thank you for suffering so much for me." There's so many great sentences, so many great phrases in this one episode. I really have to admit it. This is where this episode shines. I mean, in the end, he did. You know, he could have just said like, well, okay, there she goes. Which he did more or neither with all his other friends before. Yes, he was struggling. But in the end, he was doing it in one go. He later on thought about it and was struggling a bit with the fact that he took so much from his friends, things that they wanted for their lives. I mean, he took the death of Faris in the end, you could say. He took his life choice from Ruka and so on. So those were already strong ones, but he was clearly struggling with Marquise now. He wasn't able to do the next step that he already decided before to do, because he didn't think of the consequences at this time. And then he proclaimed his love and asked her what her side is. I can see that she struggled. I can completely understand it. We had this in the past in discussions. He has this endless journey. He stated himself, those are 20 days now that they are there. 20 days. So she knows him for 20 days. Which is enough time to fall in love, no question. But they had just this one moment on the rooftop and a little bit before. While in his head, in his memories, they had half a dozen or more moments of intimacy where they grew closer, where they bonded, where she helped him, where they talked with each other, where they spent time. I cannot estimate how much time he spent, but I wouldn't be surprised if he would be close to a year due to the D-mails and the time jumps and everything. Because he has those memories, he has those feelings which developed. So he is possibly further in his steps in knowing her, in understanding her, and in loving her. So when he said, "I love you," this is not something after 20 days. This is something he came through all those time jumps, possibly 200 plus days. And he is the kind of guy, as far as I can see, who's not easy on this. Who doesn't go to any girl and says, "Hey, I love you. Hey, baby, let's go." He's the one that he's a brainiac, you know. He has to think things through. And he did it, as I said, with this discussion to himself that we had, why he likes her. So she turned red, asked him to close his eyes, and then did kiss him. So that is an answer, but it is a non-verbal answer. Because it is possibly for her something else to say something or to act. However, it was her first kiss, and that already speaks volumes as well. And then they use the fact that possibly strong emotions and feelings will be transported over the timelines, as they know, you know, death, loss, stuff alike, as we know. That would be possibly a good idea to do it again, just in case, you know, for safety, so he remembers. Yeah, sure, whatever floats your boat. I was okay with that. And then I'm pretty sure there happened a lot more in the meaning of kissing and feeling comfortable with each other. It was a bit more time than we have seen, very sure. I guess those were possibly even hours, which is nice, which is fine. And then they said goodbye at the train station. So I thought about that. When it happened, I was like, why is she leaving with the train now? That makes no sense, because he will do the D-mail and she will be gone. So why does she leave with the train now? I don't get it. But then it dawned on me pretty early. It is a goodbye, which he needs as well, and she might need as well. She decided what to do, and he agreed. Both with a heavy heart, no question there. But by doing so, they will have this one moment where they really said goodbye to each other. Kind of. So that he will have it easier. She's already gone, so it will be easier for him to press the button. And she's not standing nearby, you know. So he gave her a gift for leaving, this strange helicopter thing. The camera, and she threw the bottle of DK pepper. It was clear for me in the moment when she did it, and it flew by, and she made him turn around, that this was her way of leaving, because she possibly felt not strong enough to say a direct goodbye and then turn away and leave, you know. So this typical turn around, pick it up, turn back around, she's gone moment, which it was in the end. But before that, she mouthed something. I'm pretty sure it was "I love you," but it was silent. So it is for her. It was this "I said it" moment. So it is a moment of truth for her. And then she was gone, and we jumped to them in the lab. However, the one thing that she insistently asked from him is that he will remember her, and I can understand that. She will be gone from the timeline that he is in, so the only way that she lives somehow is in his memories, and no one else will remember her from those that she spent time with, those in the picture here, you know. She had this nice theory that she's still existing because in the other timelines she exists. And we know that somehow things are transported over timeline, memories and the like, so maybe a person is the combination of all possible timelines, somehow, I see that. So she tried to make it easier on herself and on him that she's not completely dead. She is in the other timelines, and so she's still around. I see this concept. And the main thing is, don't forget me. Well, and then they were in the lab. Him and Daru and Mayuri, the old three, the first ones we have met. And he was shouting. He was, like angrily promising that the experiment is going on and what his plans are. Like a speech of the evil doctor once again. but I think it was clear that he was doing it to hide his pain in this moment. He was trying to... I guess if he wouldn't have done it, he might have cried at this moment, because he knew he felt pain. She's gone, and he knows that when this button is pressed, it is over. She's gone forever. So he was hiding his pain doing it, and then they did the worst thing at all, which I can completely understand, which was very nice and well done, but it was so mean. He pressed the button, it is over, the D-mail is deleted, the information from the servers are deleted, so they will not follow them. Marquise will survive, not Marquise, sorry, Mayushi will survive. And in this moment the door opens, and while we are already like time jumping, while the time is already changing the line, we have Marquise Kurisu jumping in, running in. I guess she sprinted through from the train station and told him that she feels the same, I love, and it's gone. That was, I mean, it's completely clear. From her point of view, she realized it, that she has those feelings, and it was important that the other one knows it, because she gave him no clear answer, you know? So it was important to her that he knows it. But it was so mean. It was so mean, because for him, although he knows it now, which will be positive in the future, it is this, you know, it hits him again. It hit me again, for sure. So, screw Ocarina, it did hit me. So, whatever. Very well done. I think, so that's just theory. Question is, if he would have been able to press the button having this answer from him. So it is the best possible outcome somehow, because it might be, if she had told him at the train station or somewhere else, he might have not been able to do it, at least for some time jumps or whatever. Well, and then they were alone. The three of them. There was no number 4. And none of the others either. 004 doesn't exist. Well, kind of the end. But there were, as I said, very many really good phrases in this episode. The one was from Mayushi here. Mayushi is fine now. You can cry for yourself now. I can only guess. Maybe she remembers her death and knows and somehow feels fine now, or it was just a general thing that she thought he wanted to lift her up with his, then once again, shouting speech that he did after the D-mail jump, after the deletion. But she sensed for sure that he was devastated, that he was not feeling fine. And yes, he was. No question there. So, you can cry for yourself now. Indeed, he did never. You know, he was always busy helping others. Yes, he was crying about that he cannot do it, that that it is too much, the pressure and everything. But he was, at least it never felt like he was completely crying for himself. It was always about others, saving Mayuri in the end. And then we had the last sentence. Life isn't about doing things over. Right, Kurisu? Well, that was a nice one. In the end, this could have been a heartbreaking and devastating but good ending for this series. So, in many ways, this is the end of this series. We had, however, then the outro, and we had the appearance of a phone call from someone calling her dad, which surprised Daru. And it was Susuha, who jumped there. So she time jumped to this place and called them because they have to stop World War III. So, well, it makes sense. We never had this timeline. I think it is beta right now, confusingly. after the first D-mail. We never knew what would have happened. We just know the effect of the D-mail, thus CERN did something in the future. So we had those timelines, the one that we changed off, and in this one, CERN got in power. So, but if CERN didn't get in power, someone else will have power. Something there is still happening. It might be everything, and sure, why not World War III? Might very well happen. If CERN takes over power, they control everything, they make sure there's no World War III, because it wouldn't help them. So, now we're in another problem. So which one is worse, a world war or like oligarchy or dictatorship from CERN? People would discuss about that. You know, it's always a problem. What's better or worse? You know, I can't say for sure. I mean, in a world war, people will die in masses, especially. Well, if we believe in, I think it was Einstein. If you believe in his theory, which is very fitting, we don't know what World War III will be fought with, but World War IV will be with sticks and stones again. So yes, it might as well be that World War III means the end of the world as we know it. Now, this is a problem, which I guess episode 23 and 24 will deal with, and maybe there's a slight chance of somehow doing something about Marquis Kurisu. Maybe? Talking about episode 23. That's not an easy one now. I know that there is a new series out, which will continue after this one. And I will continue watching. So I will react to the next one. I think it is Steins Gate 0. And it's a little bit complicated because there seems to be like another version of episode 23 of Steins Gate. So there's 23 and 24. And then there's 23B. And I think episode 1 of 0, something like that. So like an alternate timeline, which is a clever idea of doing it. I have one of you mainly who really asks to watch 23B first. So see the alternate beginning first. While I guess like 80% plus of you say, no, please go with normal airing orders. Which I will do, I'm sorry. Although I can completely understand his reasons, because it would be interesting to see someone with the without the background knowledge of the normal 23 and 24, seeing 23B. So I can see his points. But it doesn't make sense to me. It is, I want to see what this storyline is about, what they are doing. And yes, if I would have the option, I would like to split myself into 2 timelines and watch both first time to have those different reactions there. So I hope you can forgive me. This is it, however, for today. There was a good episode. As I said, in many ways, one that was for the main story, not necessary. Because it was just about feelings, you know? But it was good. There's no question. So I liked it a lot. And I'm looking forward to what's going in the last 2 episodes. Because right now, this story is closed. And the other 2 are bonus, I guess. That's it for this time. Please, as always, feel free to comment, like, and subscribe. And I will see you the next time. Until then, my name is Relax and Panic. Goodbye and out.